We've got a big episode for you guys. Mets just wrapped up a series with the Phillies. You're going to get about 10 minutes, 15 minutes of talking about actual baseball. And then the rest of this podcast is going to be talking about Carlos Mendoza's firing, the media. We're media marveling media. It's a overarching media marvel. Little bit of Eric Chavez podcast. We're going to do a live episode of that for you guys tomorrow. So if you want to see that, we're going to literally live watch and give our thoughts and opinions live as we see it. We'll talk about some of the clips that we've seen. David Stearns, some way, somehow, this Mets world is a mess. And I'm going to tell you something crazy, James. I'm so back into watching the Mets now. Because now that it's like such a circus in the craziest way possible, and we are what it seems like committed to selling and rebuilding, now it's a fun season. Now I'm just watching for 2027.
Fantastic season. I was glued to the game on Sunday. You and I were at good friend's wedding on Saturday. Congratulations to Alex and Deb. Talking about
Deb.
How much more excited we were. How excited we were to do this podcast tonight just because of how much stuff happened. Can't even believe how much stuff has happened in the 26 hours since we even had that conversation. But it's so much. And crazy that Sunday was a baseball game where there is a lot to talk about.
Great game.
Was tons of stories. We got great pitching performances from Zach Thornton and Christian Scott on, well, I guess great is a stretch for Scott on Saturday, but for very good performance both on Friday and Saturday. But the baseball was fun and everything else right now. I'm so addicted to all the toxic sludge. I can't stop.
Yeah, again, we will be doing a full episode pressing the space bar to play with our faces next to Eric Chavez and whoever the hell his host is. We're going to live react to that for a video for you guys on
Tomorrow.
Tuesday. So make sure you are subscribed to Mets'd for that. Audio, I don't know how it's going to do, but just stick around. You'll be able to hear it, I guess.
You'll be able to hear Eric Chavez's whole thing and us reacting to it. I got halfway through watching it tonight and I was like, wait a second. We should do this live. We should let everyone hear our reactions. But
yeah, it's insane.
Again, let's rip the baseball stuff off first.
Let's do it.
Sunday, a classic, infuriating Mets game from this season where you had literally, not a math guy, 1 billion chances to score off of Jesus Luzardo and the Philly bullpen, and you couldn't come through in any way, shape, or form. You had a horrific inning from Tobias Myers. You had one horrible pitch from Kodai Senga, who lowered his ERA by a full run today.
Which is crazy.
5 innings, 2 runs. Great move by Senga. Touched 100 miles an hour. But just that fat pitch to Kyle Schwarber. And then again, it was 14 left on base. I'll get the exact numbers right now. But I think it was 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. If there wasn't so much extracurriculars happening with this Mets team, you'd be like, this was just another loss. Exactly. 2 for 16 runners in scoring position, 14 guys left on base. It was the 4th inning when you had Bichette and Wagaman. Then it was the 5th inning when Luzardo was running on fumes, again with the righties coming up. It was so annoying not to be able to punch through against Luzardo.
Yeah, it was insane because he did not have good stuff at all. He had zero control. It felt like on the backseat like every single time. Mets had so many runners on. We had some really good at-bats too. Like Brett Beatty's been putrid, but he walked 3 times in this game. He had some great at-bats in this one. He had some bad at-bats in this one too.
One really bad one.
Yeah, one really bad one. I mean, this is what's going to happen with this Mets team. Again, we are fully committed to that. This team's going to stink the rest of the season. So it's not even something that I can get mad about. I'm trying to look at this roster and look at the performances and honestly just put each player in a vacuum and see what we get. And there are some encouraging things. There's some discouraging things. And like Ronnie Mauricio's play, really discouraging. That's not something that's really seeming like it's going to get any better anytime soon. And he had maybe one of the worst at-bats we've seen in a very long time.
Oh, very bad. I'll walk you guys through that one right now. That was the 8th inning when the Mets put together a rally. They started off with a nice, tough Luis Torrens walk-off Orion Kerkering. Bench flies out, and then you can kind of feel the way that Orion Kerkering and the Phillies were very aware that they just couldn't pitch to Juan Soler or Bo Bichette.
Yep.
Walked them both, very much avoiding them. Bichette took 4 pitches out of the zone. Soto just missed a hanger, and he took 4 pitches out of the zone after that. And then you have 1 out, and the bases loaded with Ronnie Mauricio and Francisco Alvarez up. And Ronnie Mauricio, after Orion Kerkering had just thrown 9 consecutive balls to start that at-bat, he throws a high fastball, and Ronnie just pops it up. And it probably would have been called a strike, but in that situation, as still saying Ronnie Mauricio is a young player, you have to take a strike. Bases loaded, 1-run game. You are not exactly a prolific baseball player.
You're not Juan Soto.
You have to. And then Francisco Alvarez comes up next, and after he takes a first pitch ball, then he takes a strike, then he whiffs. It takes 2 mammoth swings at balls in the zone. Where a single wins the game,
yes.
A home run, you feel great, but like it was a very classic situation where Francisco Alvarez still is not playing to the scoreboard.
No, he's trying to do way too much. And the Mets' young players in general are just trying to do too much. Even Ronnie Mauricio, it's like they don't have an A-B swing, and that's something that we've talked a lot about with guys that are the best hitters in the league, that are successful constantly. Yes, we want power out of Juan Soto. We want home runs. We want him to put the ball in the air, do all those things. But Juan Soto very much has an A-B swing, and you even saw it against, was it Kyle Backus, I think he got his hit, single to right field. Those were B swings. It's a tough at-bat for him, a lefty sidearm submarine guy who throws from behind your back. He just bloops one into right field, a nice little piece of hitting on his B swing. These other Mets hitters, part of the reason we haven't seen them take a step forward is because, yes, Alvarez and Mauricio have the crazy pop, the power. We know all about it, but they have no ability to not take that swing, it seems like.
And again, somehow, well, that really infuriated me. There was also the situation where Brett Baty, and became a big talking point, but with 2 outs and 2 runners on, second and third in the 7th, he got, again, this was after Mauricio and Alvarez struck out to begin this inning off of Jose Alvarado. Brett Baty gets the plate appearance against Jose Alvarado. And everyone, SNY, kept panicking to Francisco Lindor in the dugout. It was very obvious he wasn't available. The plan with Francisco Lindor is come up and play 2 out of 3 days. Of course, that's the plan. They rushed him back. We know they rushed him back. We know he wasn't available. Still very annoying to watch a situation where Brett Baty's completely overpowered by Jose Alvarado, and the camera keeps going to Francisco Lindor, who's not coming into the game.
Yeah, I've seen both sides. I get it. Like, why is Lindor up if he's not ready to play every day? Also, then why did the Mets panic if they're clearly not really focused on becoming a playoff team the rest of the year? So what's the reason to get Francisco Lindor back so quickly?
Well, I think the opposite, actually. I think you'd rather him play 2 games out of 3 in Citi Field than Syracuse.
Oh, I agree.
So that's
with
panic.
You.
I'm still trying to win.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would rather see this too, but it does suck that the Mets this year have found a way almost every single game this season to not play with a full 26-man roster.
Yes, always find an absolute way to do that. But again, somehow in some way, the sequence in this game that pissed me off the most, I think, came in the 4th inning when Soto and Bichette get on to start the inning, and you have the lefty crushers allegedly back-to-back-to-back against Jesus Luzardo, who, again, came into the start without much, even though he did hold the Mets almost scoreless over his 5 innings of work. And similar to no A-swing, B-swing, Eric Wagnerman comes up there just taking hacks.
Yeah.
And then Francisco Alvarez comes up again, hacks. Again, 4th inning short, take your hacks. But you, in a situation where you have a guy in the ropes, and Mark Vientos comes up and just has such an unbelievably bad at-bat as
so
usual.
Bad.
It's frustrating. And playing third base. Hasn't played third base all year. Plays third base twice in 3 games.
You know what that is, right?
Try to trade him.
That's totally, hopefully someone sees that he can just stand at third base and not be Rafael Devers, and they'll take him for, again, a 17-year-old in the DSL.
And then again, once you do have Luzardo on the ropes, again the following inning, his last inning of work, Bo comes up with a guy in scoring position. He's still down 3-1, and he just, again, he loses all semblance of approach. Everything is gone.
Yep.
Swings of 4 consecutive pitches to strike out, and then Wackerman comes up and he hits a lazy fly ball to center. That ends that threat as well. It's just frustrating how the approach can leave these guys on a moment's notice, and you could blow those opportunities.
You know who rocks, though?
Who?
AJ Ewing.
The best.
He's so good. What
Love
a good
guy.
baseball player he is. And what's funny is he's still struggling insane against lefties. Like, he is under the Mendoza line, I believe, batting average-wise against lefties. I liked what Andy Green said about getting A.J. Ewing reps against lefties. It's something that he's going to have to earn to play into more based on what he saw as a Padres manager when they went up against the Dodgers with guys like Bellinger and Muncy and all that. He goes, you have to earn those at-bats. When given the opportunity, prove that you can. Obviously, he came into the game against a righty, but man, like 279, 360, 781 for A.J. Ewing so far. And what, he has 147 at-bats, so he's like 160 plate appearances. Dude's a damn good ball player. I know he has to earn them, but I want to see him play every day.
I know, but I thought in this game, using him coming off the bench, once you get to the 6th inning, he improves your defense, and he can come in to face the righty, immediately smacks a home run off of Chase Sugart, and that's his name, right? Yeah, Sugart.
And shout out Andy Green. You knew when to take Tyrone Taylor out. You don't get an at-bat against the righty. It doesn't matter what time of the game it is. That's why we have A.J. Ewing.
Same thing with Mark Vientos in that inning. Jared Young struck out in that at-bat and later got hit by a pitch. Jared Young had a weird game. But you don't let these guys play against righties. They're in to face lefties. Now right-handers in. Try and get the advantage. And that inning is what swung the game momentarily. That 6th inning, when we went to the bench, we got a hold of it. And then, again, similarly, Bichette making the out to end that inning. But you can't get hit every single time up. No. And then the Senga stuff is annoying, too, because when he came in the 5th, you're like, oh, this is stuff. Like I'm seeing hundreds. Like, this is really fun, especially after that Tobias Myers 3rd, where he just with 2 outs, there was no bear down whatsoever. Missed every single spot. Color was terrible. Like, it was very annoying. Put a splitter right in the zone. Again, it was, I don't know. The Marsh at bat was a really good battle, and the Bohm hit was
classic Alec Bohm.
It was just knocked that splitter right the other way. Again, it was the lack of bear down that frustrated me with Tobias Myers. But I have trouble blaming Tobias Myers for anything because of how much we've moved him around this year.
Yeah, we're now stuck with a guy he's not stretched out to be a starter, but he's not in a short enough situation to go 110%. So now you just have a pitcher that's going to go a couple innings and not have his best stuff ever.
There was the Senga thing where he settled in really well into this game. He fought hard in the 6th to get that was Magician Senga back.
Yes.
When there's 2nd and 3rd to start the inning, and then you don't give up a run. I was like, oh, this is actually the guy that I would like to see right now.
Goes
and
fork.
And again, pumping 100. The ghost fork looked really good again because that fastball's 100. You can throw it in the zone. It's nice. But the one fastball he shouldn't have thrown in the zone was the pitch to Kyle Schwarber when he was fork. And at that point, you never want to say I'm okay walking the guy because Bryce Harper's on deck. But in that situation, you just know he's the one that can hurt you. You just stole the momentum back in this game. It's just not an opportunity, especially as his velocity was trickling down, to throw a fastball in the zone.
Also, Kyle Schwarber and Senga's tried to challenge him with the fastball a bunch. It doesn't ever work.
Baby.
Yeah, you're not beating Kyle Schwarber with the fastball. You're not beating Bryce Harper with the fastball. Probably not the guys to use that pitch on.
No, but again, I still like the way that the pitching was deployed in this game. If Kodai Senga is going to be on the roster, you have to find ways to do that. But again, that fastball dropped 3 miles an hour between his first inning and his last inning. So maybe that's also a lesson to us that maybe he just shouldn't even get 80 pitches. Maybe he should be a 60-pitch guy because he's in the bullpen now, but he's still acting like he has a starter's workload, getting to the 80 pitches. I don't know. Whatever happens, I'm sure we're going to screw it up. But
did you hear the comments from Kodai about what's going on with him pitching-wise? He said a lot of it is mental, that obviously mentally he's struggling. And I'm like, God, like, he's self-aware. It's good. But at the same time, he's like, when I try to throw strikes, I can't. When I go out there and I just pitch, that's when I'm throwing strikes. So do that. But he's struggling with the mental side of it. And that's why he's like, apparently you see him looking up to the gods again, looking for answers because he's mentally in such a blender right now.
I mean, that freeze frame of the Schwarber home run was classic. And we're over 10 minutes now talking baseball. So let's wrap
15.
Let's wrap up the rest of baseball in 3 minutes. I want to talk Friday because Zach Thornton was awesome.
I didn't think they should have sent him back down.
I think so either. Don't like that at all. But I really like the way he uses cutter against hitters from both sides of the plate. The Phillies don't platoon very much, so it kind of shows you how a pitcher's going to approach each handedness.
Yes.
And he used that cutter early, he used that cutter late. It was a total weapon for him. He got tons of first pitch strikes. I love the fact that he got smacked in the mouth first 3 batters of the game. Turner, Schwarber, Harper, bang, bang, bang. 3 hits, bearing down on you. Jared Young makes a nice diving play. I think that was on Bohme or Marsh. I can't remember who, but Thornton got really comfortable after that. Again, mixed speeds. He threw one changeup, and he got a nasty whiff on it. I think was that from Harper? That one from Bohm? I don't remember exactly. Keith was like, whoa, I didn't know he had that. He only wound up throwing 1 the whole game. But I like the bones of Zach Thornton. I think he could definitely be the new David Peterson.
Yes.
Complimentary-wise, like when David Peterson was good. But I was very, very, very impressed with how he responded after that first inning.
Yeah, I really couldn't believe they sent him back down. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, 7 Ks against the Phillies. That feels like a really good outing. He went toe-to-toe with Zach Wheeler, one of the best pitchers in baseball. That deserves one more go.
He should have won because in the first inning, Derek Hill, who walks into Citi Field, and the ghost of Torrey Hunter takes over his whole fucking body. I don't know how he makes these catches against us every single time.
Insane.
But that was one of the best catches I've ever seen. I couldn't even believe it.
He got his whole fucking arm above the wall.
Wheeler looked like he'd never seen something like that in his life. Soto was back in the dugout the second half and looking like, how could that be real? But then after that, like, again, it's Zach Wheeler, John Duran, the 9th inning. Difficult to muster up offense against them. Can't blame them. Wish it would have gone different.
Yes.
Saturday, Christian Scott return. Mets are 8-2 in Christian Scott games this year.
Yeah, I mean, and he didn't even necessarily have his best stuff or give him length, which is normally what you need. But Mets win when Christian Scott's on the mound. That's for sure.
And that fastball's just zippy. Like when he's getting it up to 98, and then he's throwing it at the leathers. Wasn't
that what Andy Green? Andy Green said Christian Scott was like the first pitcher in the minors that I fell in love with in the Mets organization. Because you see that fastball, and you're like, this kid's going to be really good.
There was also a really nice he was able to work the cutter much more to lefties than he was doing before going on the injured list. So that's something to watch with Christian Scott now moving forward. Because, again, similar to what we just talked about with Thornton. Maybe they saw it with Thornton. They were like, this team is cutter susceptible. He was throwing that cutter early. He mixed in some cutters late. He was getting swings and misses with it. Like it was, and that fastball is just, it stirs the whole drink together. That pitch is unbelievably nasty when he's locating it. Really like Christian Scott. Happy he's back and healthy. Small things in that
been
game.
great too.
Bullpen's unbelievable. But again, probably left Minter in a little bit too long because then he couldn't pitch. Like the up down for Minter. We hadn't taken the lead yet by that point. We just kind of rallied just after he left the game. But then he didn't get to come in when we needed the lefty. I mean, saying that they wanted to get a full workload, so everyone's talking about they should have taken out.
Where was Rayleigh?
Rayleigh threw a back-to-back with 40 pitches like 3 days ago. So I think they said they were trying to avoid him. But again, I think this is stuff we were talking about before. I think they wanted Senga to get somewhere near 75 pitches.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's even consideration of him not facing Schwarber in that at bat, truthfully. And love the sequence on Saturday with the ABS challenges. Wagner just owning the home plate umpire. And the home plate umpire being like openly like moody about it and then still losing.
Yeah, because the umpires are idiots.
No, that bullpen looked nasty. AJ Ewing's awesome. Carson Bench awesome. Juan Soto, great game. Lindor had a great game. That was the game where you actually feel happy. Probably also us feeling happy for a friend getting married.
Yeah, it was a good day. Best man.
Best man. Mark gave a good speech. Libations were moving. We were like, this is fun baseball. Then Sunday gets kind of swept away from you. But hit the 15 minutes.
Yes.
People, dehydration sucks. Quince electrolyte stick packs to the rescue. I order them. I use them all of the time.
Listen, as somebody who may or may not have had some adult beverages in their life, the next day, you know what flavor I like? Watermelon. And I don't like watermelon, I'll go raspberry. And it helps me to get my citrus salt in. But if I do, it helps me to get back to normal, feeling good, and ready to go the next day.
Yep, tough workout or dry mouth in the morning, whatever it is, this is going to help you out. Quince always has the best deals for you. You can go on their website and see a number of products. We're talking about not only a product that tastes great, but has zero sugar options that are also stevia free. Give your body what it really needs to stay hydrated. Go to quince.com/foul for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/FOUL for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/foul. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Ready to talk about the real stuff?
Oh, James, you know it because I told you this last night at the wedding. I can't wait to talk about this. I was telling my girlfriend today, I was like, it might be a 2-hour podcast because I got so much to say. We're going to be doing some crazy talk right now because it's the conversations in the Mets world, media, Twitter, family. Shout out our family. They rock. They got all the right takes. It's like I've never seen polar opposites and also some of the just worst, horrible takes ever. The revisionist history is crazy. The glazing is crazy. It's weird. And I can't wait to talk about it.
No. So we're here. So since we left you guys on Friday, the instant reaction, slightly delayed instant reaction because I had a nice little sleep in on Friday, but Carlos Mendoza got fired. We got the press conference from David Stearns. We got the press conference from Andy Green. We got 2 great articles from Will Salmon. We got another 2 or 3 articles from everybody out there. We got Mike Puma asking David Stearns to step down. We had gay Mr. Met dancing behind a very serious Steve Gelbs, which I think really underscores everything about this organization. It is just, I can't even believe how much has happened.
It's shocking that in a weekend where the manager getting fired really it was so obvious, so insanely obvious that there's now so much narrative about how he shouldn't have been fired, which is, it's batshit fucking crazy to me. I don't know what happened to the writers and the media. I actually do know they're not reporting anymore. They're giving their opinions, and I can't think of people whose opinions I give a shit less about than people who write about the team. But, it's fucking crazy that for all the reasons that they hate David Stearns, and you're totally allowed to hate David Stearns in the job 100%. That he's done. The Mets'd podcast, we like David Stearns when they brought him in. He has not done a good enough job. There's no doubt about it. But to blame him for everything while also then saying that Carlos Mendoza is not responsible for anything, despite this team being so fucking bad, I don't know how you can look at the leader of the team on the field and be like, you know what, he's doing a good enough job. It is all David Stearns' fault.
Yes. Well, at the same time, I did like elements of David Stearns' press conference to media. Again, very special media marvel to Mike Puma for asking David Stearns if he was willing to step down and saying that David Stearns did a bad job when I want to read the exact tweets. I think it's very meaningful here from Mike Puma. This was on, where is it?
Good. It's so
This
good.
was March 24th, 8:56 in the morning. Fresh first coffee thought of the day. The post-Fine Baseball preview is out today, including staff predictions. This is my 17th season on the beat and never picked the Mets to win the World Series. My pick this year, Mets over Mariners. I will note that my preseason pick last year was Dodgers over Blue Jays.
You just got to make sure you know that.
But The thing that, again, we say it every single episode now, continues to piss me off about this media frenzy, anti-David Stearns, and specifically in this moment, pro-Carlos Mendoza, is the revisionist history around all of these writers saying the roster was flawed, the Mets went into the season like asking for a disaster. I'll be honest, the only people who I spoke to before the season who didn't like where this Mets team was at was my dad and my buddy Ryan. And I'll say this, Ryan, miserable fuck, always upset, really mad about everything. If Brendan's probably listening to this, let Ryan know. And my dad just never been a Bo Bichette guy. He thought that was a weird move.
I mean, we weren't Bo Bichette guys. Shame on us.
But all of these writers were effusive in their praise of how David Stearns turned this roster over quickly. Every single projection system had the Mets as a top 3 offense, a top 5 overall team in baseball.
Yep.
For now, and again, we know that Steve Phillips also was anti what this Mets team was going into the season. Credit to Steve.
Don't Google his name.
No, don't Google his name. But for everyone now to be looking at this and being like, this was a disaster from the start, very, very disingenuous. And that's the part that keeps sticking in my craw about the coverage of it all.
Yes, because, I mean, we've seen this happen with the Mets stuff, too, in the past. Like, there's so much. The Mets are lol cows, for those of you who are internet people, like, on time. Like, you laugh at them, they get clicks, they make you money. Like, making fun of the Mets is a profitable business, and they do things to make you laugh at them all the time. They can't get out of their own fucking way. But the way that the Mendoza firing turned into, again, you said it, pro-Carlos Mendoza, anti-David Stearns, anti-Mets offseason, it was a twist that I actually wasn't ready for. I thought the Mendoza firing was going to be more like, it was sad, there was good moments, there was bad, but it's understandable. And that was not really the case by almost everybody that covered the team.
And there's just a lack of nuance in these discussions where many things can be true. Now, looking back, 100% we can say the offseason didn't go very well.
Yes,
I think that
so obvious.
blatantly, clear as day, right? Just smacking you in the fucking face. But it's the things that I think are the opposite of things that most people get upset about. Because over and over again, it's talk about P. Alonso and Brandon Nimmo. And again, looking back, those 2 transactions, sure, they have not gone our way so far this year. But I think the biggest issue is the issue that we talk about a lot with David Stearns. It's this constant threading of the needle, which probably is why we lost the game on Sunday, where, again, it's like trying to be very fine, walk the line, and make sure you hit both outcomes, which kind of underscores what the philosophy was of these last few years of the Mets anyway. An organization that needed a top-down rebuild, not player-wise, not roster-wise, but organizationally, throwing a bunch of shit against the wall, kind of just like what Billy Epler did with Starling Marte, Mark Cannon, and Eduardo Escobar. There's just a better version of it, and it just didn't work out. You don't want to tear down because you have 2 of the 15 best players in the league on your team, but you need to change a lot of shit while you're doing it. That's the issue with David Stearns. And the issue, and this was what Steve Gelbs was saying, actually very well, before Mr. Met interrupted him, which I wanted to get to there right now, where it probably was a little foolish to think you can turn over this much of a Major League Baseball team in one offseason and expect success on the other side. But to me, a lot of that falls on David Stearns, but some still falls on Carlos Mendoza because he was the constant.
Yeah, he was the constant. He was supposed to be the leader on the field, the manager of this ball club, and we're getting little morsels here and there from different sound bites and different things said by players, managers, people in the organization. And again,
great Will Salmon article.
Yeah, great Will Salmon article. We'll talk about more of that later. But, like, the fact that again, all the blame is on David Stearns, he is very much to blame. Our blame pie, he had
Massive.
the majority of the blame. Like, there's no doubt about it. He is the architect of this roster, and the roster has issues. The roster has not been good. But the guy who is the manager, getting off so scot-free, it's the opposite of what we've heard when we talk to people in baseball about the role of the manager, where they're basically making it sound like the manager can't do anything. Manager has no impact whatsoever. The Mets won 36 games this year, all because of Carlos Mendoza. Don't look at the 50 losses.
And that's something that's going around the media now, too. And I think that's happened. Especially this weekend, we have a perfect storm of baseball, sports, analytics debates between Jaylen Brown, David Stearns, Peter Bendix. Like, for some reason, we're all talking about nerds in sports right now. And I think there's a misconception, and we'll never actually know the full truth of it, but a lot of people in the media do this thing with David Stearns, Steve Cohen, Carlos Mendoza, where the bad lineup decisions are David Stearns' fault, the bad signings are David Stearns' fault, the good signing was Steve Cohen, the goodness of the lineup was Carlos Mendoza, where if you're going to give Steve Cohen credit for Juan Soto, maybe he should also get blamed for Bo Bichette, or David Stearns gets credit and the blame for both of those. And we heard and we knew this from back in David Stearns' time in Milwaukee with Craig Counsell, that he was a very hands-off executive in terms of day-to-day lineup decisions. Tactics, batting order, substitutions. It was very much, he's the manager, let him manage.
Yes.
And we're not getting that from the media, and Mark and I are not reporters, Mark and I are not insiders. I've had some conversations with some people who are relatively in the know, and I got relative confirmation that it was the same thing here.
Yeah.
Where it might have been to Carlos Mendoza, David Stearns' detriment that he was very hands-off with Carlos Mendoza, who I'm sure was managing a little desperate for most of this year, who tactically has never been good as the Mets manager.
Never been good.
And then that's kind of the result you get, which is really weird, wonky lineups and decisions and tactics every single day, while some favoritism for Mark Vientos.
The way that we've understood it throughout the Carlos Mendoza, David Stearns era with the New York Mets is that David Stearns dictates who the 26 men are that show up to the field every single day. And there is a plan in place that the Mets want, right? They want you to play.
Collaboration.
There's supposed to be collaboration. They want certain guys playing in certain matchups. We're supposed to use data to make the best informed decisions, to put guys into situations where they're going to be able to succeed. But Carlos Mendoza makes the lineup. And again, I think anybody who thinks that David Stearns is down on the field sending memos to Carlos Mendoza about what this is the lineup is because of analytics, that's simply not what any of the stats would ever tell you. And that's what we've been trying to tell people for the longest time who put the lineup blame on David Stearns. We're like, but the thing is, he is a smart man when it comes to data numbers. There's no doubt about that. He's unequivocally smart there. He might not make right decisions with personnel, player fits, whatever it is to New York City. But in terms of numbers and stats, it is very black and white. That's what's great about numbers, and that's what's great about stats. There's a right and a wrong. A lot of the decision-making was wrong. Why would the guy who's using the numbers go against the numbers in the lineup?
And that's also where I think David Stearns, we know for sure right now, has lacked most in his ability as decision maker, is the things that are not that.
Correct.
It's understanding chemistry, player culture, things like that. Because look at the trade deadline last year. Every single player we got not fit to be in New York. Bring in all these new faces and people this year. Even the understanding of I'm going to get rid of most of my leaders and also all of the assistant coaches and leave the manager in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Bad situation.
Bad. That's a that was robot David Stearns. Yeah.
Non-human decision by David Stearns right there. But then you kind of hope that the manager is the guy that is good at that. Everything we heard about Carlos Mendoza, he was good at that. Baseball man, really understood people. Like that was something. Yeah, and again, Carlos Mendoza at that, I think, was very good. And it is sad to lose a guy like that from your organization. But the flip side of that they continue to come back to is that tactically he was not.
No.
And that was something that cost this Mets team lots of games this season. And
last season.
And last season. Season before as well. It was it was very hard to justify after everything that's happened for him to keep that job.
I also I keep going back to the thing David Stearns should step down. He should be fired. He's not going to fire himself. He's the president of this team. The first person that's going to go is going to be the manager that was also a lame duck manager coming into the season. Yes, by merit, David Stearns has not done a good job. And by merit, he deserves to be fired based on the performances over the last 2 seasons for the New York Mets. There's no doubt about it. The win-losses are horrible. Why is that not also Carlos Mendoza? Why is Carlos Mendoza absolved from all the fucked up shit that's been going on in the Mets world? Especially when you hear about how the lineups are bad and the chemistry was bad. Where was the leadership? It seemed like Carlos Mendoza, for as nice of a guy he was, as great of a baseball guy he was not a leader. And that was even obvious in 2024, but we had the blindfolds on because we had Jose Iglesias, we had Grimace, we had JD Martinez. Shit didn't turn around until actual other leaders came into the clubhouse.
And maybe it's not that he wasn't a leader, because I'm sure Carlos Mendoza can lead men, but maybe
in a
it just
different
wasn't
way.
The right type of leader that this team possibly needed. For all the turnover that happened with this team, for the way that the chemistry was disrupted with the Juan Soto signing, it just didn't seem like he was able to steer the boat well. And that's why it seemed like this move could have happened much earlier in the season.
Wish it did.
But then we also got the line from the first of 2 great Will Salmon articles, and it's something that we've talked about in this podcast that we've butted heads about, and I have the quote right here. I'm going to read it because I put it on Twitter. Those who know owner Steve Cohen well say that he's operating with a sensitivity about not coming across as impulsive. The Mets want to attract quality people at different points over the last 12 months. They got caught between needing to make some kind of change and wanting to keep their guy. Losing the way the Mets have lost over a continuous stretch forces action. That's the thing. There's an optics issue with the Mets right now. And again, I think around the league, the Mets are viewed as a team that you don't really want to work for. It's obviously chaotic. It's potentially toxic. There's a shit ton of pressure on you. And in terms of managers and executives over the years, we continue to rotate through them. We were having the conversation, was it at the wedding or was it my family today, where in our lives, the Yankees have had 3 managers.
Yeah, I know.
Mets have had 11, 12?
Mets have had 3 in the 2020s.
It depends if you count Carlos Beltran as well. That number can change, but the whole thing is
Mets have had 3 managers since we worked for the New York Mets,
and 3 lead executives.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'll take
two,
it back. One
two,
more.
two.
I I missed a year in there. Billy Epler got fired. I'm excited for Eric Chavez to tell us a little bit about that more tomorrow.
He said it was an inside job.
Yeah, when we do a live rewatch of the EC3 podcast. But this is a chaotic organization. But the fact that they're openly worried about optics, that defeats the purpose of worrying about not being impulsive, because they know you're only doing it to satisfy people out there. This is not an algorithm that people are using to decide if you're impulsive. It's a gut feel thing. And obviously, you were trying not to be impulsive. You ruined your season. People will still think you're impulsive.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, the MLB season is in full swing, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. It's just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. So, are you ready to play your game? Head over to FanDuel.com/podcast to get started. That's FanDuel.com/podcast to opt in for daily dingers. Make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball. Swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, and I think that's where, you were totally right that the Mets were thinking that way.
Definitely.
100%.
That was my point the whole time.
I also think that that's a dumb way for them to think, because then you'd have this Carlos Mendoza situation where he was unfit to be the manager a month and a half into the season, maybe a month. When you lose 12 straight games with the roster that the Mets had, it's pretty unacceptable. That's not a losing streak. That's like the team is depressed and something's wrong.
And the day that losing streak broke, you have the quote from Mark Vientos defying one of your coaches. He's a coach on your staff. He said, "Why did you ignore that guy's stop sign and get thrown out by 12 feet at the plate? I was following my instincts. Once I saw the ball was hit off the wall, I was like, I'm going to score on that." How can you not hold a player like that accountable in some way? Or maybe it's you not having the coaches back, and that's even more toxic.
How about when he made two errors, just as simple as performance, right? Mark Vientos is bad. We know that. Not a good baseball player. He made two errors in that game. He starts the next day. Wednesday. How does this stuff happen? How does it continue? If there was a lot of things I'd say about Carlos Mendoza, but there was a complacency with mediocrity under Carlos Mendoza that doesn't happen a lot with other managers. And the fact that, again, Mark Vientos, whoever it was, if it was Juan Soto openly defying a coach and saying to the media, like he did, "Nope, I know better," that's a really bad look. And it came from one of your worst players who sucks.
And the other Will Salmon story really echoed this.
Yes.
It was, again, amazing. It was free on The Athletic.
Shout out Will, by the way. All his reporting. He was doing reporting.
Fantastic.
Not giving his opinion, not telling you why he thinks Carlos Mendoza was wrongfully fired. Reporting. That's what these guys need to get back to, because John Heyman and Joel Sherman and Mike Puma, their opinions, I don't give a fuck what they think about baseball.
No, but Sam basically said that he gave players anonymity in exchange for candor in this piece. And it was questions about leadership. It was questions about feelings changing, complacency. He asked the player, "Is the Mets clubhouse leadership lacking?" The ensuing pause ticked away until after about 15 seconds. It was clear that the silence spoke for itself. And then the other line from this, that there had been some talks among small groups. After losing both games of doubleheader on Wednesday with a brutal season's worst performance, not one player in the Mets clubhouse saw fit to call a team meeting. There had been some talks among small groups earlier in the week and continued reflection before Thursday's game, multiple players said, but nothing stood out as particularly memorable. As one player put it, not much. So what happened next was no surprise. We went out and did the same thing the next day.
It's insane. And then we hear about, too, it seems like these players were playing with the pressure of Carlos Mendoza's job on their shoulders, which
we
feels...
know they still love the guy.
Of course. No, they're allowed to like the guy. But I think even as the manager, having a manager there, that the players are feeling such amount of pressure that his job relies on their shoulders, that feels like not the best environment to play baseball in either, which is so insane. How is there not, again, a steadying force? We know that the player leadership in this locker room is super, super bizarre at times. And we know that even in 2024, Francisco Lindor, he's awesome. He's a leader by how he plays on the field. Juan Soto seems to be a leader how he plays on the field, loves the young guys. But there is no real veteran, and it was a team of mercenaries, something that we said could have gone really, really well or really, really poorly. It did really poorly. it's hard to have leadership, and the one guy that has been steady there that's supposed to be the leader every single day seemingly didn't do anything to take pressure off of players.
And you still have the weird thing that happened last year when it looked like 100% Francisco Lindor was going to be named the captain on David Wright weekend right after the All-Star break. When the Mets season last year really fell apart, a video was produced with David Wright. It had some Keith Hernandez and some Gary Carter in there. And there's a transition to Francisco Lindor's heroics from 24. And all of a sudden it didn't happen. You had the rumors squeak out, Adam Ottavino, some other good reporting about Brandon Nimmo's uncomfortability with the situation. And then it never happened. And then Steve Cohen makes a public statement. There will never be a captain while he's the owner. That's weird, too. Like, the one
so
guy,
hard.
again, it's very easy to poke a lot of holes in Francisco Lindor's tenure with the Mets off the field. On the field, can't poke a hole.
Not
off
a
the
single
field,
one.
for sure, there's some things to look at that I'm sure, again, one day when these books come out, these articles come out, we're going to get a lot more. But to publicly cut the dude's balls off,
Yeah, it was bizarre.
that was really weird. And it seemed like the weirdness kind of destroyed that team. And then now the other guys who were considered leaders are not on the team anymore in Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso. And those conversations happen every single day.
Francisco
If you talk-
Lindor is the most tenured Mets player now, which is an
Yes, after
insane
David
sentence.
Peterson got
yeah.
traded. He is. By a good bit.
Yeah, and then like Brett
He's
Beatty.
second. Oh, my God.
Is Brett Beatty the next?
Francisco Alvarez.
It's him and Alvarez, right? But he came
those-
up first.
Yeah, Beatty did come up first. Wow.
That's crazy.
Horrible.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Could that be true?
I'm thinking about it because
no
he came
other
up
player.
2022 would have been Beatty when he made his debut because that hit the home run against Atlanta.
Oh,
And then
my
didn't
God.
Alvarez come up like a day later or a week later when we
No.
were back in
Alvarez
Atlanta?
Alvarez came up with the last weekend series of the year against the Braves.
Yes, okay.
That
that's
was
what
his
it
debut.
Yes, yes.
That is-
Because he was there to save the day when we were watching the watch party.
Yeah, that is really bad to think about. But again, like all this weird stuff happening, it's an organization continuously trapped in not getting out of its own way, turmoil, toxic. All of these things are true, and it's really spilling out onto the field.
Yeah, it's totally noticeable. I mean, we even saw it with like how weird Bo Bichette was early in the season. Like these guys,
It's like, what am I doing here?
these guys are taking these things like almost too seriously, it seems like at time. And it's not the on the field stuff, it seems like all the consequences from their on the field actions now plays into the off the field, and then it comes back onto the field because they're so weighed down by everything.
Tell the people about the AJ Minter comments that you found really meaningful. You told me right before we started.
Yes, so one of the aggregators on Twitter, I'm going to shout them out, I don't care. Mets Batflip tweeted out Andy Green, AJ Minter comments about after the game. AJ Minter said Green's speech resonated with the clubhouse after he got to talk to them. I think he did a really good job. His job here is to take pressure off of us and let us go out there and just play free. Because given the situation, it can be stressful here, and us players take a lot of responsibility as to why Mendy was let go. His message was, my job is to take that responsibility and pressure off you guys and just let you go out there and play the way we're capable of. Minter added the players were energized by the speech despite the loss. Something that got us fired up that night, he was talking about the speech, a lot of guys were like, wow, that was actually pretty good. We're excited to go and play and excited again tonight. That tells me a lot about what was going on prior to it either. I'm sure Carlos Mendoza felt like he was a dead man walking because he was.
The whole time.
So, like, imagine knowing that basically your job is hanging on by a thread, right? And again, bad job by David Stearns here, losing the human
Bad job.
aspect, which is something that I think consistently he's not doing a great job of, is the human element of things. But Mendoza was not getting these guys ready to play. The interim manager comes in, and all of a sudden, the feels like a weight was lifted off our shoulders. That's what Minter said. It felt like a lot of weight was off of our shoulders after Green's speech. That's crazy. Your manager just got fired. A new guy's coming in. The season's like shit. He says one thing, and you're like, let's go play. And then they played well.
And maybe there is some kind of beautiful humility in Andy Green coming in and be like, yeah, I'm not going to be the manager in the future.
Yeah.
A couple months, I'm moonlighting, I'm going right back to my role. I love my job. Like, there's something cool and honest about that. That does probably take pressure off. Also, the pressure being off of, like, you guys suck and not make the playoffs anyway. You might as well just play some ball. I love the Andy Green press conference on Friday. I thought he did a great job in conveying how much, one, again, he loves his role, how much he cares about his organization, and how much he loves the game of baseball. He gave a comment about, in his role as farm director, VP of player development, whatever it is, trying to watch 4 games a night, and then also keep an eye on the major league team. He's like, you feel like you're just going insane sometimes.
Of course.
But he's like, I did miss the ability to get lost in a 9-inning game. And I was like, that guy loves baseball. That's really cool.
Yeah, he loves ball. Have you seen did you see the clip of when he was the manager of the Padres and Will Myers was talking about how it's like September and he's making him do outfield drills and shit?
Yeah,
like
when again, look where Will Myers has gone now after
and
that.
also look at
Uber
that
talented
Padres
player.
team that year. I think they won 64 games. So like, yeah, this team needs
yeah.
to work on things.
God forbid my manager makes me do baseball work.
Yeah. Oh God.
But it does seem like this was a good point by your dad from the start. Is like he seems like the next logical solution because we knew Carlos Mendoza was going to get fired.
Yes.
Basically not before the season began. Once we got to the middle of April, once the losing streak hit 7,
It's like he can't make it.
he's not going to make it through this season. And Andy Green, 1, prior manager experience, nice to have that. Because again, it seems like this whole coaching staff is still not really gelled, not really coalesced in a way that's actually beneficial to winning baseball games. 2, kind of a hard ass. This team
Very
kind of
much
needs
so.
This team definitely needs a bit of a hard ass.
Yeah, a little bit of kick in the ass because I mean, there's a lot of big names here. There's also a lot of young players. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of egos on this team, whether you guys want to hear that or not. Like
All clubhouses, all teams,
all
professional
have-
athletes.
Yes, 100%.
You have to have an ego to be a professional baseball player.
Yeah, I
basically.
mean, some guys shouldn't, but they all do.
And from here, anything else you want to say about Green? 'Cause I feel like we still need to do 5-10 minutes on that clip with Steve Gelbs.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that in a second. With Green stuff, I mean, I like the way that he's already managed the games. He's very proactive, it seems like. He's ready to go. He's playing the positions. He's playing the situations. The Jared Young lineup comment from Andy Green. To give you even more insight to the fact that the manager is making this lineup. He's like, Jared Young has proven that he deserves a lion's share of playing time. He is going to play as much as he possibly can. You're muted.
My bad, muted, touched it by accident. The flip side of that is that now Mark Fanto's getting third base reps, which again, that sucks. But like that part's really annoying to me. That was a little moment though, pushing out, and then a lot of media members push back on that, being like, "Why are people taking this clip out of context? Like, we know that there's a collaborative, and that David Stearns had a big feel on that." What I think now Andy Green is he's going to put more of the front office spin on these lineups.
Yes.
Because he is technically still a member of the front office.
Yes.
And that's what this is. And again, you don't have to watch a lot of baseball to know that Mark Fanto shouldn't be playing baseball every single day. Definitely not. But that's kind of where that lineup wound up on Sunday, which was funny. I kind of made that clip lose a little bit of pungence.
That he played third base.
Yeah, he's not playing first base. Here he is at third.
I also think that at the same time, like, just the idea that Andy Green mentioned lineup construction very early on in his press conference, I think tells you everything that you need to know about who is making decisions.
Definitely. And I would not be able to sleep at night if I was Carlos Mendoza, and I knew deep in my heart one of the reasons I may have lost my job was because I was defending Mark Vientos too hard. That would crush me if Mark Vientos cost me my job.
That would be a tough pill to swallow.
Brutal one. Other small Green things. I mean, let's even. I still think there's even more stuff in the Stearns press conference to talk about. But this Mr. Met Steve Gelbs thing was. That took over the internet for a while.
That's one of my favorite clips I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I was telling you before this, it's up there with like the house that's burning down, and there's the crazy guy on his swing in his front lawn when they like zoom out. Like this is an all-time internet clip. It doesn't matter if you like sports, if you like baseball, if you have any idea who the Mets are. You could be a Norwegian guy watching this clip, and you're like, that is objectively fucking hilarious.
It's just so Mets.
Yeah,
This is the Mets right here. If you want to learn about the Mets organization in 10 seconds, everything about the Mets organization, you can get 65 years of folly right here.
Yes.
It's Mr. Met wearing LGBT rainbow armbands, dancing behind Steve Gelbs, who's trying to give a really solemn soliloquy about how great of a guy Carlos Mendoza was and how this firing wasn't his fault, the situation around it. And Mr. Met actively fucking with Steve Gelbs during it, trying to get him to notice and make him crack. Credit to Steve for not cracking on that.
He gave one look back and was kind of like, oh, fuck.
And Steve usually is the guy that does add a lot of levity to Mets media, like all the hot dog stuff, being a fun field reporter. This was his chance to be serious, and Mr. Met doing this, and this clip now being the lasting image. So many people in the sports world saw Steve Gelbs' face, I think, for the first time.
Oh, Moonface?
And like this, between all the accounts and the aggregators, this got almost 7 million impressions.
I like tweeted it late and it went absolutely nuclear. Like it is undoubtedly a clip that you will never forget. And of course, the Mets are plastered all over this one. I also think like some of the comments about what Mr. Met was doing and everything, like completely dumb and like. Shout out,
mascot.
Yeah, he's the mascot. Shout out the sauce boss, John Heyman, all-time idiot. He quote tweeted it, and said, Mr. Met didn't quite grasp the seriousness of the situation. Mr. Met, despite the name, is actually childlike. This is coming from someone who doesn't understand that he can take a screenshot of what's on his screen. His profile picture is him taking a picture of his computer screen of his face because he's an idiot. He's a moron. So, like, yeah, Mr. Met is going to be childlike. He is a mascot for children. John Heyman, did you think he's there to entertain you? I know you have a very small brain and it's very simple to keep you focused, but my God.
This is the same mascot who once gave a fan the middle finger.
Right to him.
But like it's so funny. I wonder if the person in the suit, if they got reamed, reprimanded, lost their job.
I mean, a little peek behind the curtain when we worked there. There's like 7 or 8 different people that are Mr. Met throughout the year. It's like rotating. There's a lot of different people that get into that costume. People have other jobs. It's not like you're just Mr. Met for your entirety of your life. Whatever. Also, you can't really hear in that thing. How in the world is he supposed to know that Steve Gelbs is doing this uber serious thing when the history of Steve Gelbs is to be the light guy, like you mentioned?
Yes, have levity. But there's nothing that encapsulates the Mets as a franchise more.
No.
You're trying to be serious. You're trying to be solemn for a second. And gay Mr. Met just won't stop dancing behind you. Like, I can't even believe. Like, if we ever have to give a time capsule for Earth and they were like, we want every single sports team to be documented in 10 to 15 seconds, this is what it should be. The Mets fired their manager in a horrific season, and Mr. Met just can't stop. Like, it's
Mr. Met's hitting the electric slide behind Steve Gelbs.
The whole thing. And this is who the Mets are. We have to come to terms with that. It's a fucking joke.
They're lolcows, I said it.
We're legitimately a ridiculously run franchise. All the changes that have been made, you haven't fixed anything. This team absolutely exists for the purpose of pain and humiliation. That's it.
It's a humiliation kink.
That's the whole reason that we're here. And this is just another example. And there's been so many in the past. There are going to be so many more in the future.
Remember when the Mets did in memoriam to multiple Mets players that were not dead?
God, remember when the Mets flashed... They flashed, headshots of guys from the first ever 1962 Mets team. Weren't actually on the team. They mistook guys' headshots.
How about Mike Piazza having a press conference to say he's not gay?
Mr. Met flipping off fans himself. The Mets fans and players getting into a fight over getting thumbs down. We just do things that not even just baseball teams.
One of the guys who was the lead candidate to possibly be a manager next year in Carlos Beltran by the fans was hired and fired within like a week because he was a huge part of the Astros cheating scandal.
And it came out, and they wouldn't even hold him through that. It's just the whole thing. We are a complete farce, a complete and utter joke.
Yeah, and I did think that it was going to be different by this time.
And it's not even close to being different. And again, it's not... I won't blame Steve Cohen for this because all you can do as an owner is like spend a bunch of money and try to hire the people in the right place. He got back on Twitter this week.
Yeah.
He got an anti-Semitic comment made at him really quickly.
Crazy how people will just go right there. Anti-Semitic, racist, anything. Like, it's all really bad. Shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. Crazy people still do in this age.
And it's just I don't know, the continued bring backs to Pete Alonso. It's like, if you're under the age of 16 years old, I think you can be really sad, talk about the Pete Alonso decision as much as you want. If you're not, you probably have to move past this and figure something else to talk about.
Yeah, I wish he was on the Mets. Totally. I think we all do. I wish Pete Alonso got to be a lifetime Met. He's not. Guess what? If he was, the Mets would be 38-45 instead of 35-49, whatever it is. Like, this team is... Again, there's a reason we have like stats like WAR. We kind of can understand how many wins a guy is going to add to a roster. I don't think Pete Alonso is going to make this team a playoff team right now.
No,
they weren't a playoff team last year with him.
No, they weren't. In his whole career, they made the playoffs twice.
That's the other revisionist shit history, too, that's driving me insane. Talking about, like, again, Stearns made all these moves, and coming off of a trade deadline where he brought in all these players that were supposed to be impact guys, said, I misunderstood the kind of player that needs to come into New York. The fit wasn't great. He then did go out this offseason and say, let me see if all these other new guys will be good fits. They haven't been good fits.
But I think all those guys... on paper, should have been better personality fits. Bo Bichette always seemed like he could handle it. Freddie Peralta seemed like he should be able to handle it. If Jorge Polanco ever stepped on the field, which he began a rehab assignment, seemed like he has the demeanor to handle something like New York.
But at the same time, oh, man, where was I going with this? Oh, man. Oh!
You lost it?
No, I got it. Like, talking about, we know what that team did last year.
Sucked.
Like, it was they missed the playoffs, too. So it's not like there was this like, remember when the Dodgers were going to the playoffs every single year, and then they said, you know what, chop it down, start new, get all new guys in? I could understand if they started slow and people were like, how do we get rid of these guys? We've had no success with these people. Our best thing was losing in, 5-6 games to the Dodgers in the NLCS?
This wasn't like when you broke up the 1970s A's when they ran out of money, and you have Catfish Hunter and you have Reggie Jackson spread out all over the league. Suddenly they were trying to sell. I think was it Violet Blue? They were trying to sell players for cash, and the league had to step in and stop them.
Even
it's
to
not
keep
what
it to
happened.
the Mets when they got rid of Doc and Darryl, like it's not like that.
Raleigh Fingers, like these guys get just spurned around the league again with multiple World Series rings. Very different situation.
Yeah, like part of the whole, I think, nexus of getting rid of everybody was trying to turn a new page and get a new thing going here. It's been an absolute disaster, but I don't think that those guys being on this team make the team that much better. Maybe we're almost closer to 500.
And again, maybe the real issue was trying to change too much too fast.
Yes.
I think that is now we know for sure. That's what Steve Gelb was trying to say when Mr. Met interrupted him, but we should just start dancing around. It was a kind of thing where you're like, I want to reset everything. I want to let these guys change, but you changed too much. And the problem with the reset is it wasn't really a reset because Carlos Mendoza was still right in the middle.
Carlos Mendoza was right in the middle, and we got rid of the good guys who were still a part of the old. We kept all the bad ones because I think the other major oversight was probably how good of a player Brett Beatty was going to be this year. The impact that Mark
Hand up by us.
You hand up by us? After last year, I didn't see him having a sub 600 OPS in July.
One of the worst players in baseball.
I didn't think that was possible. I don't think that, like, as bad as and as much as I didn't like Mark Vientos, didn't think he was going to be this. I didn't think he was going to be useless. I thought that there was going to at least be a slight role for him to do something. A lot of the young guys that were supposed to fill in the cracks have been about as bad as you could be.
And that's the problem. I had a clip taken a bit out of context last week talking about this. Not that the Mets don't develop homegrown players, because the last generation we had a bunch. This new phase looks like we're gonna have two studs in Carson Bedge and AJ Ewing. But the phase in the middle, the end prospect ranking in this order: Francisco Alvarez, who is a consensus top 10 prospect in the game, who still to me looks like he's going to cash relatively on what that potential was going to be. Which I think Francisco Alvarez still profiles a 2 to 3 win catcher who still has the potential for more.
Gary Sanchez.
Yeah, but we said that. Brett Beatty, who was around a top 30-ish prospect, top 25 prospect, not filling in what he should have been, never became a first division regular. And then way down the list, way far away, Mark Vientos and Ryan Mauricio. Mauricio flashed on top 100 lists, especially around 21, 22, big tools, good H level at AA. Never improved on things he had to improve upon, and got a really bad injury. And Mark Vientos, who was never a prospect, but had a massive season. The fact that quadrant of players right there has given us very little so far this season. That's the biggest issue, not filling in the cracks. David Stearns trying to thread the needle with a bunch of injury-prone mercenaries and not having the backfill to actually make this team sustainably good.
Yeah, and the fact that Juan Soto, Bo Bichette, and Francisco Lindor, I think, have now played 10 games together.
I think 11.
11 games.
As of Saturday.
Got it. All right, that was number 11 on Saturday.
Something like, maybe that one was number 10.
It's a perfect storm of disaster for the Mets.
Yeah, there's also another comment in that Will Salmon article about someone being like, why did we trade David Peterson? It's like, we don't have pitchers growing on trees. And if David Peterson had a good first start with the Cubs, he'll probably be okay with the Cubs.
It's going to be fine.
It was kind of frustrating the way the media took the first pitch it threw as a Cub being a home run, and a lot of people conveniently forgetting that he wound up having a really good start after that.
Yeah, of course. But I also, good for him. I don't fucking care. He wasn't going to be here next year. I don't give a shit.
So happy for him that he's out of this shit. Imagine if we can get podcast traded.
God, that'd be. Who do we want to be the podcast? It's probably just the Dodgers, right? They get crazy views. We know that.
Yeah, that's lame. We don't want that. I don't know.
Who's going to make us the most money?
Yeah, probably the Mets.
All right. We're good. We're good.
We're back. We're saying no trade. I will not request a trade.
Denied. We're doing the opposite of Brandon Nimmo. I'm staying with the Mets.
That was like that little kid who apparently went viral with the post, was it? He was like, I don't want to be a Mets fan. I want to be a Yankees fan. And someone had a great quote tweet on him.
So good.
Suck it up, champ. Start drinking with the rest of us. Here's this. Number 1 JD Davis hate account. Love how long that's stood. Guess what, little dickhead? Once you're in, you can't get out. Sack up and start drinking like the rest of us.
Yeah, you got to be tougher than that, kid.
That's real. That's the whole thing. That's what this team needs, and that's what we're going to do.
It's so bad.
Anything else? I mean, some of the moments from that David Stearns press conference made me a little bit upset about where our Beats emotions let them get to.
Yeah, I mean, did you consider stepping down? Like, I think that
making things personal like that.
I'm not going to. I hope the people who know that they're good reporters, that we have relationships, know we're not talking about them when we say this. But the Mets beat is a fucking joke.
It's just, honestly, it's just a lot of people. It's a lot of competition for clicks. I think even us, people like Worthy, diving in on people's clicks too makes it a lot more competitive. Everyone is trying to make a living doing what they love. And again, much respect to everybody out there. Print media is a very difficult medium to continue to stay profitable in. Understand all of that. I thought Deesh had a good question. I thought Abby Mastracco did great. Will Salmon was good. I thought Gelbs was good.
Abby's catching a lot of shit right now. She was iffy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Abby asked a good question. I just think people were giving her shit because of how she asked it, and David Stearns kind of got snapped back at her a little bit. But I think Abby's a good reporter, and she's again getting better every day. That was Deesh's old job, run the beat for the Daily News.
I also think we're getting like these random people coming out of the woodwork now, talking about the Mets and giving their thoughts and opinions. And I go, again, you're a reporter. I don't care about your opinion. Report the news, newsboy.
Yeah, newsboy. And that's why I still love what Will Salmon does.
Will's the man.
He's become such a great insider. He also has the backlog of working with David Stearns, covering the Milwaukee beat when he was there. So he has a very unique perspective that many of us do not. I don't think anyone else actually does. I don't know anyone who's on the Milwaukee beat, now the Mets beat. Very unique opportunity. Very unique opportunity for Will. The whole thing is just weird. Can I give another Harper's Hits just to basically close this out here?
Talk about a reporter, John
That's
Harper.
a reporter.
That's a reporter. That guy should be getting the first question every single time.
Let's see. I can't wait to see this.
The questions.
There were so many that it's hard to even.
Yeah, the questions by media, though. Like, again, you have I feel like the job is to report, not give your thoughts and opinions on what's going on. Because, again, who are you?
And Harper, after the game on Sunday, asked the question that I was hoping someone would ask. Was there a take sign on Ronnie Mauricio to take a strike after seeing 9 straight balls?
That's reporting because it was crazy. He didn't.
Trying to get a read on Andy Green, was asked about Mauricio popping up with the bases loaded in the 8th and the 1-0 pitch after Kirk threw 9 straight balls. Gave an evasive answer, saying there were take signs on at times for certain guys, green lights for others. Very Showalter-like. Here was Green's answer. There were certain times when we had takes on today. There are times when you want aggression on pitches that you should be able to handle. So different points in time there were takes, different points in time we were turned loose.
Not throwing the player
Great
under the
nothing
bus.
answer.
Yeah.
Great nothing answer right there.
It's the beats, the hungry. They're after it.
And they gotta be. This is a great time for the beat because Carlos Mendoza is going to start chirping at some point, I'm sure.
I actually don't think he is.
No?
I think that's why people love him so much. I do think he's genuinely an awesome guy. There's nothing to lead you to believe that Carlos Mendoza is a bad guy or anything like that. I don't think he was fit to manage the New York Mets. It was not the right job for him. He was not the right guy. The fit wasn't the best. There was a lot of moving pieces. He wasn't given the best scenario either. I think it would
especially this year, bad
especially
one.
This year. I don't think he was given a fair hand by any means. But the job, the record is a reflection of his job, and the record's bad, so he's done a bad job. That's how it works in this sport. It's a performance-based sport. You can't reward him because you like him as a person.
Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. Mets record says they're dog shit.
Yeah. Denny Green, you are who they thought they were.
3rd worst record in baseball.
Oh, God.
Angels ahead of the Mets.
I know. Oh, man. I got Angels fans so mad yesterday.
And do we have anything else here before, again, tomorrow, guys, Mark and I are going to do a reaction video to the EC3 podcast that neither of us have listened to in full.
That is Eric Chavez's podcast, by the way. In case you were wondering, Eric Chavez, yes, he has a podcast.
The EC3 podcast. Yeah, I cannot wait for that.
I can't wait. Because I've seen the clips.
Clips are good.
It's insane already.
I listened to the first 10 minutes on 2x speed while I was prepping otherwise, and there were some juicy morsels in there.
Give a little morsel real quick, just for the people.
There was a story that one time he didn't run out of ground ball or go hard to second base and double play. And he said Billy Beane was waiting in the tunnel for him, chewed him out in the middle of a game. The GM called him into his office and then showed him clips of Derek Jeter running hard.
That's insane.
good morsel right there. That one did not make it to social media, but we're gonna do the whole thing. I don't know how long it's gonna go because the EC3 podcast was 30-something minutes. Maybe we listen 2x to Eric.
No, we're going the whole thing.
We're going slow.
It's going slow, pausing when it's time to speak.
Low and slow, like a nice brisket. I mean, I feel like we're even forgetting things, but an hour in, it's almost. We gotta just close this up. We gotta let people get on with their days.
Yeah, we gotta let people get on with their days. At the end of the day, I think that my final takes on all of this will be: this season is a lost season. We're now looking forward to what is going to be the 2027 Mets. We're trying to find who the pieces that are going to stay here, who's going to play what positions, who's going to do this, who's going to do that.
Coach?
Yeah, who's going to coach is going to be a big conversation. Shout out Albert Pujols. He said.
Not Harper sits.
David Ross also said he wants to be the Mets manager. So there's people who want to be it. It's just guys who haven't gotten a job.
I don't think I want to be the Mets manager.
I want to be the Mets manager. I'm going to
You wanna be the Mets manager?
I'm officially throwing my hat in the ring. I want to be the Mets manager. Let the record show. Mark Luino wants to be the New York Mets manager.
All right, nice.
I'll take that
wants
job.
to be the Mets manager. I'm into that.
Yeah, I'll take that job.
I don't want you to be the manager. I'm on the record. I don't want Mark to be the
This
manager.
bullshit. That's crazy. You should have seen the Milburn 8U team that I led. And also, I have a almost major leaguer that I coached for one game. Shout out Josh Kuroda-Grauer.
Yeah, Josh Kuroda-Grauer, actual prospect.
Yeah, real prospect. But that's it. I got nothing else. Oh,
right,
did I say my final stance?
I know. I think you just started yapping.
Yeah, it's fair. Team's a mess. This season is a lost season. Let's play for what we got in 2027. Let's make a lot of trades and bring in some new guys. Basically, everybody but the guys that you know should be available for trade.
Yes, basically every single one. And keep telling you guys, promise trade deadline stuff or promising prospect stuff. This kind of jumped to the front of the line.
Yeah,
But that stuff will still come.
The Mets are going to trade everybody. So
Yeah, probably. I got some Frankie though too.
yeah, let's hear Frankie. I'd love to know what Frankie's got about this crazy weekend.
So we could do some time traveling with Frankie because we didn't really do an actual series recap last week. So I have a 14-second from Frankie that we never touched. This was after the Cubs series.
Yeah.
This was just before the Mendoza firing. So then we're going to go take a journey with Frankie.
Okay, let's travel.
This is number one, time traveling with Frankie Peppers.
Gentlemen, this is Frankie Peppers. How you doing? This is the first episode of the hot take sauce with Frankie Peppers. My hot take is that we stink. Thank you, gentlemen. Happy Father's Day.
Hot take sauce with Frankie Peppers.
That's extremely accurate.
We're off to a rollicking start. Now here's Frankie for 40 more.
This is Frankie Peppers. How you doing? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Definitely a more encouraging series, but same result. I have a feeling that's just going to be results the whole year. The remaining of what is left of this lost season, gentlemen. And as we mire in yet another lost season, gentlemen, I'd like to switch it up. I'd like you to each tell me 3 things that you're grateful for, okay? I'm grateful for the Mets'd show. I'm grateful for my ability to cook. And I'm grateful for Jalen Brunson. All right, boys, take care.
He took one of mine.
Frankie went 3 for 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm grateful for Mets up. I'm grateful for my cooking, and I'm very grateful for Jalen.
see, I'll grateful for Jalen Brunson, grateful for Juan Soto, grateful for social media because those are our jobs.
That was okay. I'm not really grateful for social media, but right now is one of those moments where I just can't pull myself away.
No, it's addicting.
Grateful for our friends. We had a
Grateful
nice
for
day
our
on Saturday.
friends. Shout out
Nice
Alex
time.
and Deb again.
Again, it's going to be a nice, fun week. Grateful for air conditioning. This week, everyone be really careful in New York City. The heat index can get to 110.
Brownout alert.
Yeah. Oh God. Freaking this grid better not die on us. Grateful for great women in our lives.
Of course, the best.
Always grateful for them.
The
Grateful
best.
for my family. Grateful for the World Cup. That's keeping my mind off the Mets a little bit right
yeah,
now.
World Cup. I'm going to the game on Tuesday. If you're at France, Sweden, come say what's up.
Grateful.
Grateful for Mets'd up in the audience.
100%. Grateful for all of you guys. Like Mark just said, this is the best. I'm grateful for every baseball game the Mets don't play in.
Oh God,
I love watching those.
I love watching other teams play baseball. It's really a blast.
I love watching other teams play baseball. Grateful for fantasy baseball. Having a good fantasy season despite the Mets being terrible.
I'm okay.
It's keeping me locked in. Grateful for Jared Young.
Yeah, of course. How could you not be grateful for Jared Young?
Grateful for Carson Benj and AJ Ewing as well.
I'm grateful for the 4th of July. Can't wait for 4th of July.
250,
Barbecue,
baby.
fireworks, 250, USA.
Can't wait. Big party at the Chiano house.
Can't wait. All right, that's it. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Mets'd Up over on YouTube. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, subscribe. Again, big premiere tomorrow.
Big time.
EC3 podcast live watch. Might be the only people on the planet that's doing that. So I don't even know if he's watched his own podcast, but we are. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that. You can follow James on social media at
James Chiano.
and I'm Draft Nick Mark. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Go Mets.